Hello, chickens. Tick, 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 tick. Good morning, chickens. Tick, 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 tick. Hello, chickens. Good morning. Tick, tick, tick. Tick, 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 tick. Good morning. We have some mealworms for you. Oh, I gotta untie this. All right. Here we go. Enjoy. Some fresh water. All right, so today my plan is I gotta fill their feed bin back up. I think I'm gonna run to Lowe's and get some sand for the bottom of their run, so it makes it a little bit easier to clean. Also, I was reading that chickens like to be able to dig and to take dirt baths, and so sand is, as long as it's the right sand, is a good option. We need to get medium grit contractor sand, and I also am gonna put some flowers along the edge to make it look nice. So, but yeah, so I have chickens now. I went to go sit in this chair and apparently it's missing a leg. Don't remember that happening. Well, it's been an exciting August. At least the last couple of days have been. So, I, full, you know, I was expecting chickens to be part of our plan in our 4th year living here in the house. I think we're currently in our 3rd year. And so this kind of jumped on us real quick. So, long story short, our neighbors have chickens, but they don't live here. They kind of use their house is almost like a vacation house. So they come here from, I think they live in New York, and they come, once a week usually, and they kind of, do some chores around the house. They'll spend the weekends here with their family, and then they move back. And so they have a pretty substantial piece of property, and so they got 50 chickens. That was 2 years ago, I think. And I guess they're going away for an extended period of time, and they said they don't want to take care of them anymore, so they pretty much hoisted 10 chickens on us. And we're like, do you want these chickens? And I was like, well, I mean, I really don't have a place for them. So I stored them temporarily in our greenhouse, which is too hot for them. So, that day I we called up Tractor Supply and, asked them, do you have any coops right now that can hold about 10 chickens that I can pick up today that I could put in the back of my pickup truck? And they said, yeah, they do. They had one that was on sale. So I'm actually pretty happy with this one. We're still setting it up mostly, but it's done. So it's been about 3 to 4 days with chickens right now. And it's been an interesting disruption to my lifestyle. To Annie as well. I mean, we've always talked about it, but here it is. So we're adjusting, and they're pretty friendly birds for the most part. They escaped one time. I had to go collect a couple of them. And again, I'm learning a lot very quickly on the job here, but it's been fun, and it's always kind of been a little bit of a dream for us to have them. I always tell people that, like, my garden and the idea of like being out to work on it is a lot of it was inspired as a kid playing farming video games, you know. And like, you know, you start off with the crops in those games, and then once you make enough gold selling, you know, tomatoes at the farm market, then you can start investing in animals. And usually the first one is chickens, right? You have to build the coop, and then you buy the chickens, and you know, buy the feed, and you got to take care of them every day. And so it's just kind of funny that here I am about to turn 40, and I'm kind of doing the same thing. So I'm pretty thankful that that's happening right now, actually. Um, yeah, I think that having, you know, to come out here every day and make sure that their waters refill, make sure they come out in the morning, or they get shut back in the coop at night, adds a nice little routine to the day. It doesn't take very long, and you know, I was a little bit nervous about the responsibility involved, but I was reading that chickens, you know, first of all, chickens are very hardy animals. You know, they're raised to be hardy, and you know, if you're providing them with food, shelter, water, you know, that you're pretty much doing 90% of what they need. You know, um, so the plans with the coop are, we still have a little bit of work to do. Eventually, so right now they're kind of stuck in the coop for a week. You know, they're cooped up, and the idea is they need to get reacclimated to their new home. So the day after we got them, the gate wasn't closed perfectly. That's why we have a purple, you know, tie on there just to reinforce it now. But 4 of the chickens escaped, and the first thing they did was they went right back across to the neighbor's house, back to their old coop, because they think that's their home. So they need to be acclimated to their new home, so they have to stay in their coop for about a week before we can, you know, start letting them potentially free range. And I'm still thinking about what that's going to entail. I probably envision maybe making a little fenced off area in my yard that can kind of be for the chickens. But in the meantime, we got to make sure their coop stays clean. So I need to, you know, start working on that. So another topic, and I don't want to turn this into a big 30-minute chicken lecture, but you know, so there's the debate on whether chickens truly need bedding or if you need litter, and those are 2 different things. So bedding is the idea that, oh, they need something soft that they can lay on, you know, and that's actually not true, because you know, chickens roost usually at night, so they like to stand. So what you need is something that's going to collect their droppings. So you know, what a lot of people do is something called the deep litter method, or you know, deep bedding method, where basically they kind of like keep adding pine shavings, and that breaks down into like compost with their waste. People swear by that, but you know, it can be a little bit gnarly. I mean, if you're doing it correctly, it shouldn't smell, you know, because you're actually creating compost. You're not creating, you know, basically a poopy mess. But you know, for me, I think that seems a little unsanitary, and you know, I'm not looking to use chicken compost right now. I think maybe in the future we'll figure out how to do that correctly, but right now I just want to make sure that, you know, we keep flies down, that we make sure the smells are okay. And so in that case, actually, they say sand actually is probably the best option. It's almost similar to kitty litter, in that you kind of just collect it every so often, and you know, and then that will break down, you know, in the yard. So yeah, so that's something I'm considering, is we need to get some sand in there just to kind of give them somewhere to dig and somewhere to, you know, poop, and we can clean it up okay. And you know, there's a lot of things to think about, but we are already getting eggs. So we got at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we got 8 eggs already. I think there's another one in there right now. One of the chickens is being broody, so they're in there kind of like sitting on the eggs a lot right now. But 9 of the chickens are very, very social, and they'll come out and say hello. I'm trying to teach them. That was what the green cup was for. That when they see the green cup, that means there's mealworms. And the other reason I'm sitting here talking and chatting to you guys is they can actually get used to the sound of your voice, chickens. So the more that you talk to them, the more they recognize that it's you, that you're caring for them. The more they're likely to, you know, come to you when you call them, and be more comfortable around you. So, so I'm just talking a lot around them as well. So, All right, so we got a couple chores to do today. Like I said, I'm gonna try to run to the store and buy some bedding for them, and you know, we have some minor garden tasks too. So you know, hopefully you'll stick around with me. We'll see how much we can get done today. I just had a couple rough days at work, so you know, we got some. I want to relax a little bit today too, but we're gonna try to get some chicken tasks done, and yeah, and then hopefully we'll, you know, moving on to the next phase of our of our home plan here. So this is the stuff that I'm talking about. So this is multi-purpose sand. It's not play sand. It's good for pet areas, but it's graded and washed, which is important. And it's better for, it's used in concrete mixes. This is better for pet areas. So this is the type of sand I got. I started with 8 bags. So once the chickens go to bed tonight, I'm gonna probably just try to rake out their pen as best I can, and then I'm gonna lay down some sand. So I forgot that I closed their door when I was just checking their coop, so I have to open it back up. This thing's got a nice little like extendable door so they can walk back into the coop if they need to. It's kind of funny because I feel bad about them being, you know, cooped up in that pen for the next week, but it's for their own good until they're safe and they know that that's their home. But it's funny how many terms we get from, I'm reflecting a bit on like old terminology that we have in our language that we still use. So waiting for this plane to finish flying over. But like when you're feeling cooped up, you know, like that's like you're feeling, I'm cooped up in the house, you know, like you're like it's like a chicken coop, right? You know, they're kind of restricted. So also I've been doing a lot of, I took a sailing class and I've been really interested in sailing, and it's amazing how much of our language like is derived from sailing terms, you know, like learning the ropes, you know, that's from sailing. You know, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, just a brief aside. So I'm gonna rest for a little bit today, and then I'm going to get some chores done around the house. I'm gonna pick up my daughter, and then I have a meeting, and I'm gonna make dinner, and then I'm gonna hang out with my wife a little bit. But then hopefully by the evening, once the chickens go to bed, I can get some work done on the pen, a couple more things that I like to do. So, all right, stick around. What did we give them for a snack? What was it? We gave them some corn, right? All right, so it's been a couple days since we've been taking care of the chickens, and I'm actually changing my plan regarding the run, and I'll explain to you guys shortly. Just adjusting the camera here for my fancy garden shot. I'm half in the shade, but whatever. So, I'll have my microphone on me, so I'm gonna have to speak up over the chickens because it can be a little noisy. Oh man. But I have some Aperol Spritz here because I'm out of beer. There you go, that's a good glass. And I just want to talk a little bit about what my next plan is. So it turns out that chicken people on the internet are crazy. Surprising nobody probably. But the debate over chicken run has like what to put on the bottom of your chicken run is like caused flame wars on the internet that just like would make like politics people blush. So what I'm planning on doing, I'm changing plans. I was gonna do sand, but so the inside of the coop has done so well over the past 2 weeks. It's been about 2 weeks since I got the chickens now. It like doesn't smell at all. It's starting to break down already into really gorgeous compost. So, you know, whatever we're doing like in the coop, I kind of want to emulate outside the coop. Now, the problem is the pine shavings probably aren't the best substrate. They could be used, but they are going to blow all over the place, and you know, I kind of want to try something a little bit different. So my new plan is I'm going to lay the run with some wood chips. I think that's probably the best option. So now I could go out and buy wood chips, but first of all, a lot of the wood chips you get are in mulch form in bags, and usually they're dyed, like they're dyed black or they're dyed brown or they're dyed red, and I don't really want all that stuff in with the chickens. So the other option is you can get free wood chips. Usually they are dumped off at your property, but when they do that, there's so many of them that you know, it's a large amount, and it's kind of unpredictable when you'll get it. So I was talking to my neighbor, and he said that he gets like a big pile of wood chips every fall from a guy. So, you know, it's almost fall now. It's late August. It's gorgeous today, by the way. So I think, and that's going to be the plan, is we're just going to get some wood chips. We're going to sprinkle them in the bottom of the run come fall. And hopefully that'll give enough insulation and bedding, and also it'll break down with the with their manure, and it'll make a really great compost that we can rake out and put into the garden, into the beds next spring. So really excited for that. So overall, the chicken experiment has been surprisingly good. It's been 2 weeks now. I'm way less anxious than I was the day I got them, for obvious reasons. But the general flow of my day hasn't been interrupted too significantly. In fact, it's kind of improved in very pleasant ways. In the morning, like I like to go out and kind of give them fresh water, make sure their food's all up, refresh their bedding. In the late afternoon, sometimes I'll come out and do it, like now, and I'll even let them out of the run for a little bit so I can clean their coop, or I can, you know, do whatever tasks they need to. I'm kind of struck at how important they are to a garden. People talk about that a lot, but I think it's kind of underappreciated. Is that like they fill a very big hole for somebody who has like their own yard, their own garden, because a lot of like the waste products that you may get, like tomatoes that have gone rotten, or you know, some bugs that, you know, some big worms that are eating up your leaves, or you know, some lettuce that has already gone to seed, you know, like those things typically would be thrown away or maybe thrown into a compost pile. But this way you just give those to the chickens and they turn it into compost, and it creates for a very balanced system, you know. So like, you know, I grow things, I take what I need, what I don't need I give to the chickens. The chickens, you know, turn that into eggs, which is a protein source, and also into bedding and into compost that I can use as a gift back to the garden to restore nutrients. And it's just a very balanced way of seeing things, and it's just, I don't know, there's something very peaceful about knowing that there's like a system here. You know, so I recommend it. I think it's been a really good experience for me, even though we weren't prepared for it. But so far it's been great. So cheers to the girls, I guess. thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. It's been an interesting couple weeks. It's been an interesting experience, but I do genuinely feel richer for it. I feel more connected to the outdoors, to my garden, you know, to my spiritual side. I know it's just a lot from chickens, but you'd be surprised. So, so stick around. We'll be putting videos out occasionally when we can, just to kind of document how things are coming along in the farm. I mean, in the yard here. And but thank you all so much for watching. Take care. Mm-hmm.